Right, YouTube family, I'm in the fight mobile on the way home. I knew something was up. Everybody thought I was crazy when I said there's a rift between Dana White and Conor McGregor. And I said it. I said at some point the UFC and Conor McGregor would fall out. Well, here it is. Conor McGregor says he wants $10 million for UFC 200. Dana White said no. Negotiations fell apart. Then he said, I'm not going. Then Dana White said, fine, you're pulled from the card. He said, cool, guess I'll retire young. Thanks for the cheese. Now, Dana White said that Conor McGregor didn't come to the press conference. Hey, listen, that's why he pulled him. BS. I'm not buying that. Dana White has been known to bend a few stories. The last time he said GSP was injured and afraid, that's why GSP quit. Come to find out, talk to GSP, he wasn't injured and afraid why he quit. He quit because he wanted to leave the sport. He had enough. So Dana White's been known to bend the truth a little bit. That time, him and Tito Ortiz was supposed to rumble because it was in Tito Ortiz's contract that he gets to fight Dana White at the end of his contract, right? Dana White had to honor it and give Tito Ortiz the fight. Dana White was traveling and boxing, doing some decent boxing work. The day for the weigh-in, Tito Ortiz didn't show up at the Athletic Commission. Dana White was shaking and quivering. Now he's white, but he turned extra white, pale that time. Alright, no. Check this out. Here is Dana White's response. Hey, maybe Tito Ortiz saw me training. He knew he wasn't for a serious fight, and that's why he backed out. Brother, please. Tito would have beat you, rip your arms off, and crush you. He just decided to let you slide because he didn't want to embarrass the president of the UFC. That wouldn't have looked good for the sport, so he took the high road. So Dana White's been known to bend the truth a little. Now think about this. You're Conor McGregor. Your total combined with Ronda Rousey accounts for 70% of the pay-per-view buys, right? Year to date, so to speak. Now check this out. Why would you pull somebody from the card who's a draw like Conor McGregor? That doesn't add up. That doesn't add up. Now, Conor McGregor seems to have a lot in common with Jose Aldo, because Jose Aldo said the same thing. He said, these press conferences, I don't get paid to travel overseas, and these press conferences, it takes time away from my training. I'm not able to train effectively. Well, according to Dana White, Conor McGregor said the same thing, so he pulled him from the card. Still not buying it. I believe it's a $10 million. I really believe it's a $10 million because it would have been the highest payout in the history of the UFC. Dana White didn't want that to happen because he knows that once he pays Conor McGregor $10 million, guess what? The floodgates open. Now everybody wants $10 million. You have to pay Ronda Rousey $10 million. And then Conor McGregor already got $7 million the last time he fought. The last couple times he fought. So he's at $14 million now in total. So yeah, he's good. He's good. So Conor McGregor's response is like, okay, listen, my cost of living and my overhead is less than the UFC's. If I retire and never fight again tomorrow, that $14 million and the way I live my life, that'll hold me. I just have to not buy a few cars, not buy a few custom-made gold watches or suits that elephants have to die to make. And I'll be all right with the $14 million. I don't need 300. I'll be good with 14. So he says, okay, UFC, mud in your eye, mud in your eye. I'm out of here. That's what I believe. Now, guess what's going to happen? No, they're going to have to run back to Jose Aldo, kiss his Brazilian behind. Mwah, mwah, mwah. They're going to have to run to Nick Diaz, kiss his, I'm Jamaican, so I can say this, kiss his ganja smoking behind. They're going to have to make it work with the stars that they got. Ronda Rousey, she's not coming back for now, so she's not going to be in UFC 200. Alexander Gustafsson, he's not going to fight at UFC 200. Now they got to scramble to put a card together. I tell you what, Dana White, pay the man the $10 million. Because if you got, 1 million people buying pay-per-views at $60 a piece, That's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money. Pay the man the 10 million. Don't be stingy. But I tell you what happened. Dana White knows that if Conor McGregor gets $10 million, he's going to come out in his suit and say, hey, I'm the highest paid. I got $10 million Mayweather money. Well, guess what? Conor McGregor say, hey, I'm retired. I'm done. You don't give me the money, I'm done. But here's the deal. This video is long, but you got to watch it. You got to get the rest of the information I'm going to give you. You can't. Don't press off yet. Get the rest of the information. Conor McGregor signed a contract with the UFC. Now, the UFC contract has a retirement clause in it. I spoke about this in my video about I did about the contracts and the pitfalls when Conor McGregor signed the contract. I did a video about the royalties, the copyrights, and Conor McGregor. Go back and watch that video and use what I'm talking about. Here's the thing. The UFC contract has a retirement clause. If a fighter retires, right, he's still obligated to the UFC to perform the contract if he comes out of retirement. So you can't retire from the UFC and say, hey, I'm going to work for Bellator, I'm going to go for Affliction, I'm going to go for Operation MMA, I'm just going to retire and go somewhere else and start working. No. The contract says that if you retire or you're sick and you cannot perform your duties under the contract, at such time when you return to health and wellness, or when you return from retirement, you still gotta perform the number of fights you owe them. Okay? Now, I suppose another company could come along and buy out the contract, buy the performance out of the UFC contract. It could buy them out. I suppose that could happen. That would work. But at this stage, nobody's gonna come in the middle of all that junk. So my guess is this. Dana White take Conor McGregor off. And one thing I can tell you about Irish people, they're pretty similar to Jamaican people. Respect is a big deal. Big deal. Now some of them won't give it, but in the culture, you gotta get it or give it. The ones that don't give it, don't get it. But the ones that do give it, care if they get it. Especially when you're dealing with somebody who's bringing that kind of money. So you don't respect him. He's like, hey, you don't respect me and you want to pay me what I think I'm worth, then we don't have a deal. That's all that is. So at this stage, Conor McGregor said, hey, you're not going to pay me, I'll pull out right now. Now I bet you Dana White is going to go back, scramble, try and put the card together. The pay-per-view buy, if UFC 200 suck, that's going to be a historic suck. Really, really historic suck. So that's going to, with Conor McGregor out of the game, I don't see how they could convince me to spend my money now. Yeah, not that I want to see him fight Nate Diaz. I want to see him fight Frankie Edgar, or the winner of Frankie Edgar versus Jose Aldo. And the next thing that UFC is not mindful of, hey, you gotta watch this video to the end to get it, buddy. I'll even cut it up in two if I need to. The next thing that the UFC is not mindful of is, hey, listen, the nation of Ireland, they are standing behind Conor McGregor. He's bringing a whole nation with him. You pull him, you pull his nation. I'll give you an example. Most Jamaicans do not drink Budweiser. They won't drink Budweiser. You know why? A couple years ago, there's an artist by the name of Shabba Ranks went on TV. They asked him his opinion on something. I think it was about, I don't remember what the topic was, but his opinion was unfavorable. He offended a group of people, and that group of people say, hey, we're not going to drink Budweiser unless you pull this entertainer from the promotion. So they pulled Shabba Ranks from the promotion. Well, guess what? Once they pull him from the promotion, all Jamaicans say, you know what? If that's how you're going to do our people, here's how we'll do your people. We won't drink Budweiser. If you go to Jamaica, you will not find Budweiser on any store shelf. Nobody drinks Budweiser. Now, I drink non-alcoholic beer. But the Jamaicans that drink beer, they'll only drink Red Stripe, Corona, or something else, or Guinness. But they'll never drink Red Stripe. They'll never drink Budweiser. So think about this. You pull an Irishman from fighting in a main event and cut his money off and his ability to provide for his family. You didn't even say, hey, let's negotiate. Let's work something out. I'll give you 10 million, but you get over a period of time. You didn't even say that. Then you come out and try to cover it up by saying he failed to show up for the event, blah, blah, blah. The numbers aren't adding up. And the Irish fans, they're going to look at that and they're going to side with their champion and they're going to say, no. Why am I going to buy a pay-per-view and spend my money if my guy isn't fighting? They have bare knuckle boxing over there. They got other stuff that they can be, and soccer that they can be entertained by. This is a bonehead move, Dana White. Pay the man the flipping $10 million. Forget the business model of screwing people over. All the while the UFC say, oh, we pay fighters what they're worth. If you're a needle mover, we'll pay you. Well, hey, Conor McGregor is a needle mover. Pay him the $10 million. That's what I say. Pay him the money. Get him back out there. Let's get it on. Otherwise, that pay-per-view is going to flop. Unless. Now, if you make Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo the main event, and you treat Jose Aldo with some respect, you'll get the Brazilians back. But for right now, I just don't see UFC 200 being good. You got to come up with something major. I mean, major. Not even GSP and BJ Penn coming into retirement is going to convince me to. I'm just not there. I'm just not there. I'm just not there. It's just, I don't see it. I don't see it. Now, watch Bellator take advantage of this. I'm going to sit in the money chair when I get home and crank the numbers. All right, guys. Peace out. Dana White, pay the man the money, man. All right, guys. I'll catch you.